baby beard.
Waited for you, Fry.
This episode traumatized me as a young person.
My head is hurting again.
Where's my firstborn son?
God does not care about me masturbating.
Your singing is bad and you should feel bad.
First get out into bus, you're like, oh no!
I don't like myself becoming the protagonist of this podcast. You've been in
Yeah, because you haven't learned anything.
Are you ready, kids?
Yeah!
What is it time for?
Shut up and take my podcast!
No, we've talked about this. We don't say shut up. What do we say?
Oh, be quiet and take my podcast, please.
Oh, that is absolutely 100% tip-top right. Gold star for each and every one of you. Oh, you know what? It is absolutely fantastic to be here. I couldn't be more happy to be here with you all today in my room in the house to celebrate our Australian Futurama podcast where we pit episode against episode in a bloody...
My mum said that's a bad word.
Well, it sometimes can be a bad word, or it can mean, that's owie. Or it can just be that thing that your family member says on that barbecue that you have every year when he doesn't realize that the kids are around. But that's okay because he's from a different generation.
So I can say bloody.
I'd rather you didn't.
Oh.
So I'll not say it anymore. Glorious.
Yay.
Gauntlet.
Yay.
Battle for your entertainment.
For me.
And your entertainment. And your entertainment.
Well, that's golly nice of you, Sean.
Oh, and that's exactly right. My name is Sean. And kids, I'm in a bit of a pickle because, well, see, I've got this DVD here of Futurama Season 6. And, well, I'm up to the episode Yo Leela Leela, but Phil's not here, and I have nobody to watch it with, and I have nothing to watch it on, so I've just got this case with a disc inside it.
Oh, it sounds like you need a friend with a TV so you can watch it together.
But I'm 27 and I don't have many friends. It's harder to get friends when you're close to 30.
Oh.
It's a scary age. You won't be there for a long time, but
It's a scary look at our future, mister.
it's a scary life.
Knock, knock.
Oh, what? Who might that be?
Well, hiya, Sean and children.
Oh, kids, look who it is. It's my next door neighbor, Ellen.
It's sure nice to see you all.
How are you today, Ellen? What brings you over here?
Well, honestly, I'm a little blue.
Bow, bow. Why are you blue?
Well, because I just have this big TV and I really want to watch something, but I have nothing to watch.
I can sympathize. You know, I've got this DVD and I don't know how to watch it and I've got no one to watch it with.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
It's like I need a DVD and
And
you
I-
need a TV.
I just feel like it's a hopeless situation. Kids, do you have any ideas on what we could do?
What's that?
Oh!
You want us to watch the episode together?
Oh! That is a tip-top idea.
What a brilliant idea. Let's do that right away.
Woo! Well,
Whew.
that was 22 minutes of solid entertainment, don't you think, buddy?
I absolutely think, and you know what's even better?
that?
We stop to stretch before and afterwards, since we shouldn't be sitting down all day.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Arms, legs, heads, and...
Moral centres.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I haven't stretched that one in a while, so thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome. That's what friends do.
Hey,
What?
so we watched... what was the title of that podcast, that episode again? Oh,
Yo Leela
Leela.
Leela. Thanks, kids.
I'm so glad that all of you are here in this room with us today. We had so many friends to watch it. And did you know, kids, that this podcast was brought to you by the director, Frank Marino.
Oh, wow. Who's that?
Oh, well, do you remember him? He was here a little while back when we watched Silence of the Clams.
That Frank Marino.
Yes.
Oh, well, it's sure nice to have him back.
Right? And you know what Frank Marino's been doing lately? Well, he's going to be the supervising director for season 1 of the new Harley Quinn TV series.
Whoa. I don't know, Sean. That Batman seems a little spooky for me.
I know, but they have a better chance of making it work as an animated feature rather than on the big screen, don't you think?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. We can still have hot takes on kids' shows.
Kids should have an opinion and should be allowed to voice their opinion, I think.
I think so too.
Great.
Well, this episode is also brought to us by the writer, Eric Horsted.
Oh,
And,
does he like horses?
Yes.
Oh, great.
I was going to say something like instead.
Instead of a horse, we got Eric.
Oh. But Mr. Eric Horsted, he's back from The Mutants Are Revolting.
Oh, that's the episode where Leela, Fry leads a revolution.
Yes. And the mutants are now on the surface.
Which is
together.
a very big word, children, but it basically means an uprising against the unfair bourgeoisie.
Oh, I thought you meant surface.
Oh.
Surface? That's a big word. Revolting. And what can revolting also mean?
Oh, it can mean... I already said the revolution thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, revolting can mean something that is a bit yucky.
Oh, ugly.
Whoa.
I know.
I said yucky.
I know.
Oh.
This is a synonym aspect of the show. How annoying do you reckon this episode is at this point?
I think it's fantastic.
For all our young listeners that finally get to listen to Shh and take our podcast.
Yeah.
It has several names as long as it doesn't say the words shut up.
Whoa! You just said it!
I'm going to put $50 in the no saying the shut up word. Oh, I said it again!
Oh, no! Now we're all going to be saying shut up. Oh. All right. Well, that's enough of that.
Right. Air date for this episode is July the 21st, 2011, which I've written down is 13 days after my 20th birthday.
What was the date again?
July the 21st, 2011.
So that is...
This-
17 days after my birthday.
Which one?
I don't know.
Okay. So as you rightly said, we have a lot of special guests that appeared on this episode. Can you remember what one of them was?
Oh, I sure can.
Who was that?
The inimitable Tom Kenny.
Who did SpongeBob?
And like loads of other characters that you all love too, boys and girls and others. We have the Ice King from Adventure Time.
Oh, yeah.
He's done lots.
He
has done lots.
At least
It's just
two.
those are the two that spring to mind. He's a lot of unnamed characters as well sometimes.
We also had Kath Suchi?
Oh, she did. Did she do a lot of the kids' voices?
Yeah, so she definitely did Sally, but she also does Cubit Farnsworth.
That's correct. And did she do any voice work on Rugrats?
Yes, she did. She was, I believe, Tommy.
No.
No? No, it wouldn't be Tommy. It would be some of the others.
That was Tara. Is that Tara Strong?
Tara Banks.
What?
Tara Reid.
She does there are a few really gravelly babies.
Yeah.
Look, let it not be said that
Give me my bottle.
That Tara Reid can't do a baby voice. This is not the kind of attitude that Shh and Take Our podcast would like to put out into the world.
I also like that she went from Sharknado to Rugrats.
I did mean Tara Strong.
Oh. I'm on, Tara Reid.
I was just yes-ending.
Wait, who's Tara Strong?
She does loads of
She's a voice actor, isn't she?
Yeah, and she does like a lot of children. She's done Raven from Teen Titans. She's done, I'm fairly sure, Tommy Pickles and Dill Pickles. One of the I think it was Buttercup, maybe from
the
Powerpuff
Powerpuff Girls.
She's done like if you looked up how many voices she's done, it would just be like voice, and all really famous, memorable characters.
That's how my CV looks. Voice. Voice.
I mean,
Which
you
voices?
really should have written down some of your skills in past jobs as opposed to just the word voiceover again.
Well, it looks better. Repetition is key. It makes the employer feel comfortable with you. Like you can be tasked with the same thing over and over again, like 108 episodes of a podcast.
That's true. And you have been tasked with that.
Yes,
by
myself.
Remember, kids, if you can't get work, you just go out and you make work.
Whether you get paid or not, it's irrelevant.
As long as you're having fun.
As long as you're happy. Hey.
Yeah.
Ellen.
What?
Well, because our good friend Phil isn't here,
Oh.
I feel like we should talk about the story that we got to experience today.
We should.
And maybe we should... Is this where we decided we were doing a song? I can't remember.
I didn't decide that. But if you want to do a song, that's all up to you. Do whatever your heart wants.
Now it's time to run down the plot. Let's throw over to Ellen, see what she's got.
Hi! Welcome to Doing the Plot. So, we start out this episode with Leela visiting her orphanarium to read the children a children's story because they don't have any books, unfortunately. It's very sad. They don't really like her story, though.
Aww.
So she goes away and tries to make up a new one. She comes back, and the kids enjoy it so much that a TV executive who was testing brain readings on the children.
We don't like him.
We don't like him, but he picks up her idea and makes it into a TV show, which does really well. Leela gets loads of successes, awards, and is just a bit... I don't want to call it, but she's a bit of a smuggy buggy, isn't she?
Her personality gets a bit revolting.
Whoa, good use of that word that we learnt today, Sean.
Thank you. I can't remember what it means.
This is brought to you by the word revolting. Yes, but then after learning how the kids idolize her and want to emulate her, she can't take the guilt anymore because it turns out she didn't make up that story about all these charming little lovable
creatures?
Grubbly bumps. Grubbly humps.
That was the one thing I didn't write down.
Nope.
Grumply, bumply bumps. Bumply bumps.
These adorable little critters.
Little scamps.
She didn't make them up. She went to a planet where they actually exist and just wrote down everything they said. So she thinks it's all going to be, all of her success is going to be taken away from her. But instead, the TV executive and all the orphans that he just adopted make that into a reality TV show.
And that's kind of a happy ending.
And it's a happy ending for the children and
Having a double deal.
And the critters and
the viewers that'll get to watch the show.
Yeah.
Just not Leela. She's got a crisis on her hands.
Well, she wants to be punished for her perceived wrongdoings, but instead she is given praise, which you might say is the worst punishment of
Yes,
all.
because she does feel awful at the end. So she got exactly what she wanted.
So she learnt a lesson, didn't she, children?
Yay! So I have a question.
What is it?
Did she actually do anything wrong? Because it seems like those creatures were fully on board with her writing stuff down and using it.
Well, I suppose, Sean, that there is a time and place sometimes for the appropriation of different people's ways and cultures in mass media.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say, children?
They're a bit silent
Well, I don't...
because they seem to be on board with it. They're aware that she's there. They're aware that she's... Because they even say to her later on, like, do you want us to
Make
talk
a
about the
song
stuff
about
and
it, yeah.
make the song for you? And they know that she's coming and going. And she introduces them in front of...
I don't think they are aware that she's making a show about them.
Maybe...
I think she's just been writing down their exploits. Or...
Because what? Springy Boy seemed very unhappy that one of his stories was shared to the kids.
It was very embarrassing,
yes.
wasn't it? So I think they're not aware that she's using their stories to make a show.
She didn't use full disclosure. She did partial disclosure.
Which is not very nice. But she also didn't change any names or any circumstances or situations.
No,
and
they look
also
exactly like
the
they are
characters
them.
to look exactly like them.
I thought initially that the episode, the way it was going, is she was going to base it off the Planet Express crew.
That's what I thought was going to be. They were very clever
right.
when they started off the episode because we have Fry playing the trombone.
I thought it would be like a trombone type weird creature.
We've got a...
tapping Zoidberg?
Yeah.
Zoid tap?
We've got...
Farnsworth with his bunions?
Bender who's tooting away like a little steam engine. Doot-doot.
And Amy...
Hermes is drunk, I guess.
At 4:21.
Oh.
What were you doing at 4:21 today? Do you remember? I do.
Oh, he's having a nap.
So was I.
Yay!
That, by the way, when you get into your mid to late 20s, or any time really, 4:20 naps are important.
Yes, and nothing else should be done at 4:20.
Like what?
I said nothing else.
Okay.
Just go straight to bed, children.
At 4:20?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm advocating. That's exactly right.
That's what everyone's talking about when they say 4:20. They're just talking about a lovely long nap. Just don't you worry your precious little heads, kids.
Getting lit on their dreams. Dab. I get lit on my dreams.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I had a dream last night that was actually a nightmare, so it has no place on this episode.
Oh. Was it scary?
I think so.
Oh.
I think there was a very kind of existential sense of foreboding that pervaded the entire dream. So it wasn't...
All right, let's not talk about it on this episode. Let's talk about it later with someone who is licensed and professional and willing to help you.
You, my next door neighbor, Ellen?
Always check with the person who says that they're able to help you if they are actually a qualified therapist.
And if they're alive or dead as to whether you can lick them or not.
Oh, yes. What a strange message.
Right?
But I thought that could be a really lovely way
to talk about consent.
With children.
Yes. Always.
The metaphor doesn't quite scan because you...
If they're dead, that doesn't exactly mean you should lick something if it's dead.
Yes.
For starters.
Absolutely.
I do like the idea that even if they are dead, lick the stick instead.
Lick the stick. Yeah. Find something else you want to lick and do that.
Inanimate objects. Inanimate? That's the word of the day.
That's very cute.
What do you think inanimate would mean?
Like a reverse laminated paper. So instead of doing that whoop, 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 it does that, but in reverse. So it's
what does that sound like?
Bub, bub,
it's the blue noise. Quite right, Lee.
Do you think
Yes.
I'm unsure why Leela would want to reveal that she did a bad thing by learning that the kids look up to her and want to be a writer, and her being a writer and previously being from the orphanarium has inspired them. I don't know why she chooses to crush their dreams.
So, do the ends justify the means? Because we did just mention before about the potential appropriation of culture. If you were weighing up that against inspiring millions of kids, what is the correct thing to do? Well, could you not come out to the planetary grumply bumplies first, and see what they feel about it? And if they then come clean to them and say, hey, those stories that I've been using, I've actually been using as a TV show. So first of all, I really apologize that I didn't talk to you guys about it beforehand. Mm-hmm. And if they're on board with that, and if
Then
they gave their consent,
She should give them percentage as well.
yep, and then she doesn't necessarily need to crush the kids' dreams, and everyone else, like the grumpy bumply gumplies, are all happy with the arrangement.
But maybe the grumpy bumplies want to be in control of their own story.
They could. Well, this is what I'm saying.
Have
What's
their
the
own representation?
what if they were okay with it though? Does that make it okay? I feel like yes.
I think we're straying into some questionable ethical boundaries here.
What question is that?
So the question is whether or not the perception of the show and the fact that it inspires young kids, whether that's better than the worth of the Grumpy Bumplies being able to tell their own story.
Yeah, because there is a thing of like, you know, if they know that there is someone that is capable of turning their stories in a way that they can't because they're not creatives or writers or performers.
That's true.
So
that would be a good message on how sometimes it's, you know, when you think you can't do something, really it just means that you should talk to someone who has different skills than you.
Yeah.
Right? Because me and my friend, we're making a play. I'm better acting and making bits of theatre, but I'm not so great at like sitting down and writing a script. And he's really great at that. So we've combined it, and now we're having a show together. Like,
and he can play the piano.
and he can play the piano,
Really
and I can
awesomely.
roller skate. And these are all skills that we wouldn't have like separately, but together now we have loads of skills.
So, like, in the same way that Captain America and Thor can combine their skills to do some really rockin' moves together.
Whoa! Is this a spoiler?
No, they do it in the first Avengers.
Okay. whoa,
Wowie,
neighbor
wowie.
Sean. Maybe we want to be nice to all the kids who didn't go to see
all those
Endgame.
10-year-olds that didn't see Endgame. In the same way that that's true, find a friend, find out what their favorite skill is, and see if you can attach your favorite skill to that to make up something really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be a cool spin to this story.
Yeah. Overall, I got to say that a lot of its talk about TV in general, I really dig, in the same way that I really enjoyed When Aliens Attack, which was also an episode all about television.
They had some interesting things to say, didn't they?
Yeah.
Especially about some questionable children's programming. For example, this is quoting children, because you shouldn't say these words.
No, never.
The
Popular Slut Club.
Yes, the Popular Slut Club, where young girls who are probably played by actual
18-year-olds.
adult women, are highly sexualized and dressed up to look like they're adult, and behave in very adult manners.
Which is troubling.
It's problematic,
because
we
it
would say.
also touches about familial relationships as well.
Oh, yes.
That old chestnut.
I think that's meant to be a parody of soap operas.
I hope so.
Or...
I did used to watch Bold and Beautiful for about 3 months stretch when I was living at my brother's house.
Wowie, how did that influence you?
I got very into it, and it is crazy.
My grandma really enjoyed watching those soaps because I think it kept her mentally active because she couldn't remember who anyone was in relation to each other. And so she couldn't remember who was dating whom, who was related to whom.
It's impossible.
Yeah, so it kept her mentally sharp.
Do you remember when we went to acting school together where we had to do the soap scripts
Oh, goodness.
Home and Away?
Do I?
And part of my research for that is I happened to find the scene where it was, and I watched the actual scene on YouTube. But also, I found that time period because if you go on the character's Wikipedia page, it goes through their entire, storylines.
That would have been very smart. We did not do that. We just tried to make something up.
No, don't do it for very long because I read about 2 weeks worth and boy, howdy.
And also you can't play that. You can't play the fact that you got abducted by aliens 5 weeks ago and then came back, but then you are your own brother.
But you can try. which
You
is what
must
they all
always
do.
try.
I had a newfound respect for the amount of canon that they probably don't have in their heads and disregard completely.
Speaking of kids shows,
Yes.
and we spoke about Tom Kenny, there were a few little SpongeBob nods in this episode.
SpongeBot?
Yes, sorry, SpongeBot nods. You know, the popular show, SpongeBot Gear Pants. I don't know.
Yeah, Cyber Pants, something like that.
So they had that, but then also in one of the TV shows, it was Captain Megameat and
The Bottomless Boy.
and the Bottomless Boy, which is a parody of the SpongeBob.
I thought it was Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
No, it's maybe that as well. It's probably but in my mind, it's more of a parody of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy from
from SpongeBob,
which
that's
is
true.
then in turn a parody of the 60s Batman show with Adam West. And yeah. So I thought that was quite fun.
It was very creepily like Aqua Teen Hunger Force. If you've ever watched that show, it's it's on a cartoon.
Even though it's
block.
cartoon children, it is not
No.
necessarily for you.
It is on a block called Adult Swim.
Yeah, and if that doesn't tell you that you shouldn't be watching it,
Don't
then
go swimming in that pond. Space Ghost Coast to Coast is for you when you are older.
Yes, or many of the there's a few like claymation ones. There's one I saw recently, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it, but it's new, so it's on the Adult Swim website, and it's like a parody of the Twilight Zone, and it is
Scary Dog?
no, yes, but it's horrifying, like because it's I believe claymation, not just stop motion animation. I believe it's clay. It is disgusting, and they have bits where, you know, people go inside out, like get set on fire.
That's
They've
horrifying.
got some like Lovecraftian era, Lovecraftian inspired horror in there. It's very grotesque, and I do not watch it if you're a
Kids,
kid.
add
Don't
that
do
to the
it.
list of things
No.
that you shouldn't watch.
Well, it's just as well I cannot remember the name then.
Yes, do not try and Google that with the list of words we used. A few things that did horrify me in this episode. Did you catch when Leela put her hands into the drying cement? You know, when she was like doing the
No, I stood up to get a fork.
I thought so. So what do you call it? Like on like a Hall of Fame, a Walk of Fame
the
type
Walk
thing.
of Fame.
She puts her hands in the cement, and then she dunks her open eye onto the cement and gets an eye print on it. And when she brings it up, clearly the eye was open.
No, wait. Why would the eye be open? How can you tell?
As in the eyelid, because you saw the dot.
the iris.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right?
Wait,
right?
does it?
Does it?
I don't know.
No.
Wait, I do feel like the iris is actually
Doesn't come like it doesn't
like
raise
I'm not
above
touching
your.
It is raised, isn't it?
I don't think enough to.
Have
do
you ever
that.
seen like an eyeball? I'm fairly sure like the iris is actually like.
I did dissect a frog once.
Also, eyeballs. You think they're like perfectly round, but they're not.
No.
Yeah.
What about Leela's? Maybe hers is. It's
Maybe.
one big eye.
We don't. Hers isn't even round. It's an oval.
Yeah. So, for all we know, it could be very. Also, she's a mutant, so it could very much be raised, even if humans don't have raised eyeballs at the moment.
This is true. This is
So-
true. And maybe
'cause we're all different.
Maybe it's concrete proof
Ugh.
because that's her strength.
Well, she has touched her eye directly before, and she goes, "Me normal."
I mean,
on the other episode, that
I can
has,
do that, and like I'm
in the
not a
way that
mutant.
she does, though.
I can't like caress it. No.
No, because that was also in the episode that had Tom Kenny in it, which was Adlai Atkins.
Yeah, Adelaide, and this one, what's his name?
Abner Double Deal.
Yes.
Who also now, so he runs a kids television network. He runs the Robot Fighting Championships. He runs the baseball team. Oh, and yeah.
He's not necessarily a bad guy. He's just in showbiz.
Yes, which is accurate.
I love the line. Oh, it's nice to finally see you, Toots. It is actually nice to see you. I'm just in showbiz.
Also, I would watch extreme toddler wrestling.
Yeah, because I don't feel like they could do a lot of damage.
No, and they wouldn't remember it.
Although, am
later
I
in
allowed
life.
to do a Pet Cemetery spoiler
For
for the upcoming one?
Let's say no. Is it in
Okay.
the original?
No, but I will talk about the original. So the original story, I don't care about spoiling that because it's from the 70s, and y'all should have seen it.
Except you kids.
Oh yes, don't make sure you don't watch that. But it does mean that in the plot, a father has to wrestle and fight his like demonically possessed, I'm going to say 3-year-old, even though I think he's meant to be about 2-year-old child, and it looks ridiculous.
Is it just a dummy?
It's just a dummy.
That's fantastic. No, kids, you might be able to watch that.
Okay.
It'll be hilarious.
Probably. I don't. Oh, actually, no. Even though it's quite silly, the gore and stuff is still quite over the
Prevalent,
top. So
yeah.
I wouldn't get kids to watch
No,
it.
maybe not.
No, maybe preteens.
Also interesting about this episode is for any of you wrestling fans out there,
Whoa.
like you, Elliot. So they mentioned that they're at the Roddy Piper Arena or something to that effect. The reason they did that is it was originally the Macho Man Randy Savage arena, which you'll remember him, Ellen, as the wrestler that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man faces against in Spider-Man 1 when they're in the cage.
That's right. And Tobey Maguire says some not quite nice homophobic things about him.
Yep. But that wrestler unfortunately passed away
Oh, no.
3 months before they aired the episode, and then they realized, let's not use that person's name. So they used someone else.
So Roddy Piper. Was
Roddy
he
Piper
in a movie?
he was there to chew bubblegum and kick some bottoms.
Yay!
And he's
in
all
They
out of
Live.
chewing gum.
That's one of my favorite movies. Also, don't watch that, kids. Actually, maybe do. It will instill a healthy cynicism in capitalism.
Yeah, which everyone needs.
Yay!
Capitalism. Wait, no,
No,
not
boo!
capitalism.
Although the ending of this episode has a very like pro-capitalist.
Yes.
Since the children get adopted by
Double Deal.
What was his name?
Abner.
Double Deal. And he basically makes them
Puts them to work.
The
Which they're quite good at. To their credit, they use their skills.
True. And the grubbly pumps get like minuscule profits.
But
sure,
still
it's a
manages in their currency. It
sure,
seems to
it's a
equate
lot
to
to
everything.
them, but you shouldn't be paying someone based on what it's worth to them. You should be paying them the same that.
Well, it's interesting though,
Do you know
because
what I mean?
what if on their world that is the equivalent? Because that seems to also give them electricity and insurance and a home. So because if you paid and then they change over and it works out to like $1 bajillion,
I think he should be paying them the same that he would pay any other actors. It should not matter.
I guess it depends if they're going to be working in Earth from then on, and because if they move, then absolutely. But I don't know. That's an interesting
when I
quandary.
Was in Switzerland for a while. You remember?
I do.
Lots of people work in Switzerland but don't actually live there because it's quite expensive to live in Switzerland.
That's fair.
But you
It's
get
not
paid
fair.
well, so it works out the same.
That's true.
But what a lot of people do is they commute from Germany or France or Italy. Switzerland is a place with many borders, and so they commute, and that way you're getting Switzerland level pay, and then you can afford a lot more stuff.
So that's even better.
Yes. So
yes.
So he should be paying them the same rate.
What if?
Essentially,
What if?
is what we've decided.
That is what Double Deal pays all his actors.
Well, then he's a bad capitalist man,
Right? Feels like what actors get paid sometimes, so it also feels scarily accurate.
We talked a little bit about. Oh, I think we talked about it in the preamble, but even though it sounds like bad words, children, penis and gay are not bad words at all. They are just factual words.
They are just words.
They're just nouns.
Words that you can use.
Wait,
and
nouns?
Nouns? Yeah.
Yep.
To be gay is...
If it's happy, then it... Nope.
Gay is... So, person, place, or thing. That is a noun. I believe gay would fall under that category. Surely. Write in.
Yes, actually, write in.
Please do write in, actually.
About grammar, because we are
Gamma?
bad.
Gamma rays.
About gamma rays.
No endgame spoilers, Ellen.
Yes, but they are not bad words.
Which,
Just as the word straight wouldn't be a bad word.
no.
Or just, and this was actually a thing that my 5th grade teacher, when we were starting to learn sexual education, she wrote out a list of all the words that we were going to be using, and then she made us say it, and we weren't allowed to laugh. And we would just keep saying it until we didn't laugh.
Brilliant.
So she would make us stand up and say penis, vagina, ovaries, testicles, sex, any other kind of sexual education related words. And she's like, we're going to keep saying them until you stop laughing because there's actually
They're
nothing.
normal.
They're just words. There's absolutely, when you see a penis or see a vagina and you say there's a penis or a vagina, that's what it is.
It is.
Yes. And it's
Yeah.
also, it's helpful if you're seeing a doctor, right? Because then you don't want to be like, oh, it's in my...
My squiggly wiggly.
Because then they'll think it's your intestines.
And that's not somewhere you want to have problems either.
No.
Or them looking if that's not the kind of doctor they are.
Oh, no.
Right?
That would be terribly unpleasant.
Speaking of penis and vagina,
Organ harvesting.
that I was going to say clothes can go on them, and clothes are fashion.
I would say that. Or you would say that. You are correct, is what I mean to say. Let's talk about it. Come on, boys and girls, we all want to look our best. Let's look at the characters who are best dressed. It's Fashion Corner. Wink. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fashion Corner. It's so great to have everyone back again. So we're going to talk about what the characters were wearing in today's episode. And we have an old favorite of mine. We have Leela's formal dress, which is a beautiful navy blue. I'm going to say it's an azure, which is a royal blue, which is like a lovely, yes, not quite navy, because navy is very close to looking black when you look at it from a distance. But azure is like, or royal blue is like the color of not quite a night sky, maybe an overcast sea. How's that?
Is that the only form? That is like her formal gown, isn't
She
it?
has a few. I think she wore a red one in the Devil's Idol.
Right. See, I thought she wore the blue one in Devil's Hands, but I must be wrong with that.
Or maybe it was... No,
No, she last wore
she
the
had
blue
purple
one.
gloves in that one. I remember
She wore
because...
the blue one in 300 Big Boys.
That's right. Yeah. She's worn this a few times. It's got a slit up the side, which gives it a nice kind of flowy, dynamic effect when you're walking in a gown like that. It's over one shoulder, and she has paired it with a lovely same color azure hair tie. So a royal blue and gold hair tie.
Yeah.
This was it's a
Nice
lovely,
throwback.
lovely fun look. Fry bedazzles his own underpants.
Wait, what?
That's a line he said.
Oh, did he actually? Do we see the bedazzledness?
We don't see it, but we're aware. And you don't have to. The good thing about underpants is sometimes you put them on to make yourself feel good.
And Fry does feel
good. And if Fry
good.
feels good in his bedazzled underpants, he doesn't need to show people.
No.
No. So,
He probably would. Because that's Fry.
And also, bedazzling can be expensive,
Mhm.
I thought it was a bit lazy of Fry and Hermes to wear essentially the same suit to the Young People's Choice Awards.
Were they just wearing a tux?
It's just, I don't even know if it was a tux because I couldn't see the tails, but a black suit, and a white shirt with kind of like they just had different colors. So Fry was red and Hermes was green, cummerbund and bow tie. Which I'm not saying it's a bad look. It just makes me a bit annoyed that women have to wear a different dress for each different event, and men can wear the same black suit until they die.
I've been wearing the same clothes for about 2 weeks and no one's noticed.
Yep. Oh, they can even wear that suit after they die as well. They can bury it in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's very thrifty, don't get me wrong. But yeah, we shouldn't expect different things of men and women's fashion, unfortunately. And that works both ways. Men should be allowed to wear funky, fun things.
I have a bright red suit in my wardrobe that I've been meaning to break out.
You do. You should.
I will.
Not right now. We're doing an episode.
Aw.
Apart from that, that's all I really had to say for Fashion Corner. Apart from the, well, we think they're costumes for the grubbly badumps.
But they're made from walrus skin as well.
Yes, which is not very nice.
No.
Walruses need their skin.
I also like Calculon's addition to his self, which is he wears the little white, like it's almost painted the white.
Like lapels kind of thing.
And then the bow tie on his.
Yes.
But he's just basically naked, or what constitutes
so it's
naked.
like body paint.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I thought it was really fun.
Yeah. And I like the color scheme of all the characters as well. Similar to Yo Gabba Gabba, which is a show with lots of bright, differently colored creatures, and they've put a lot of love into the design of that show. Yeah.
I also think, just as far as Futurama technology is concerned, what's really cool is the cue card machine.
Oh, yes!
You take an entire script and shove it into a machine, and it transforms it into cue cards.
It's brilliant.
I want that.
It's what we've always needed as actors.
And for this podcast.
I forgot another thing in Fashion Corner.
What is your thing?
When
Wink.
Bender gets a cut of Leela's earnings, he has a Sims-esque emerald floating on top of his antenna. So antenna bling that makes him look like a Sims character.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
And in memory of Phil, who is still with us, he's just not here, so I've remembered. The only Bender function is he's a tugboat. His head
Boop, boop.
comes up and he emits steam.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
That's Bender functions. So, Ellen.
Yes.
I think it's time that we get onto a vote. Do you know what that means?
Time for a jingle.
That was the end of the episode.
That's all she wrote.
Did we enjoy it or not?
Let's put it to a vote.
Let's do that.
Yay!
Oh, so Ellen, look, you're a guest in my room.
I am.
So, would you like to go first?
Oh, that's very kind of you, Sean.
So the current champion is Law and Oracle.
Oh, yes, which was in an episode that we both did together.
Yeah.
Yay.
And also last week I did a little poopy because I said Law and Order, which is an established TV show by Dick Wolf and is not a Futurama
and we have
episode.
not reviewed that show.
No, we have not. But to my credit, either Peter Avancino or Steven Sandoval called it that as well when we interviewed them.
Oh.
So I'm throwing them under the bus.
Making your mistake.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Law and Oracle versus Yo Leela Leela.
Okay. Well, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was so much fun. I thought it had a lot of really interesting things to say. And the great Futurama thing when it really understands something from the inside is able to make a lot of very clever comments about it. So a lot of how children's programming works and why certain characters are appealing to us, like Garbly, who we can't understand.
Garbly.
And that's why we find them endearing. And the fact that these messages are very simple and sweet, and then we'll do it 2 times in the episode. So I found a lot of things really interesting. I found that it jumped along from the plot to the execution. There wasn't a lot of dead air, which was very, very a positive thing about it. And apart from the fact that it just, for me, didn't really stick the landing, I think there could have been something a bit more coherent to say about how children's entertainment, even though in some ways can be exploitative, means a whole lot to the children who are watching it and consuming it, and the messages that are in the work, not necessarily when the work is being made, if that makes sense. Lindsay Ellis, she's a YouTuber. She makes a really good point about this in her essay about Pocahontas and Moana, which is Disney taking or using women of color and cultures that aren't their own, making stories about them, but learning from Pocahontas, where Pocahontas must fix all the sins of the white people and she has to be the perfect person. And Moana is a story where they thought about what the little girls who look like Moana are going to think, and they made that into a story beat. And Moana realizing that she wants to honor who she is and honor where she came from is a much more cathartic moment and a better movie overall. So I recommend watching that. If it had veered more into that way, I think it would have stuck the landing. But it didn't for me, so I think I'm going to go with Law and Oracle, which is just a bit more cohesive. It doesn't have anything really big to say, but it doesn't get lost in saying it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's one point.
What
for
about
Law and
you?
Oracle. Yeah, I mean, look, you said a lot.
I tend to do that.
No, that sounded like a Freudian slip. You said a lot.
Wow, there was a lot there.
Far out. I'm leaving.
Oh.
No, you said things a lot more coherently than I probably would be able to elaborate on. So taking everything you have and
adding to it
in the vein of what Leela did, I copy and paste it. And place it as the preamble for what I'm about to say. So agreed with what you've said. And more so just from kind of an emotional feeling. When I saw Law and Oracle, I just had so much darn fun. It was an episode where, as you rightly say, it's not a thematic episode in the sense of it's not trying to say something, it's not making a big, social point or political point. It is just Futurama at its most fun in a way that people had led me to believe wasn't possible in the new season. It was an episode where the characters are acting in the way they should be acting, which is a plus. We have a really fun, exciting guest character in the chief of the police chief.
I want to say McGintley, but I'm fairly sure
something
that's not
like
it.
that. Yeah,
Captain
and
McGintley.
In a partnership that's really fun as well with Earl and Fry, where I really enjoyed this episode, Yo Leela Leela, and it's nice to once again see them changing up the format and I could not stop smiling the second Leela began singing and kind of playing around with this amazing story, really great story. That was just really, you know what? It's wholesome.
Yeah.
Wholesome is probably the word of the month in this household. I believe I've heard the word wholesome so much. I feel like wholesome is what you've really been digging lately.
And in
like
life. It. Yeah.
And in life, really. Like
life
this episode.
Is hard. And
life is hard.
Life is sad a lot of the times. And any time that we can
watch SpongeBob, we should.
We'll bring a bit of positivity into it. We should look for those moments. That's not to say that every piece of entertainment should be just saccharine and just
fluff.
overly sweet. I think wholesomeness comes from identifying what makes life hard and trying to find something to counter that.
Yeah. And this is the point where I say you can have both of those as the Futurama episode. Both
Totally.
of them are completely valid. But Law and Oracle for me as a complete episode is just much more cohesive and well put together, well crafted. And I actually do think they stick the landing in Yo Leela Leela. I really liked how they ended it in a place where Leela was not entirely satisfied, which is exactly what she wants in the end.
Yeah.
But with Law and Oracle, yeah, look, that's where the heart wants what it wants, and it wants Law and Oracle to live for another week.
A buddy cop.
A buddy cop.
Yeah.
So for our voice,
Whoa.
we can do any kids character from a kids show that we want to do. Oh. I mean, I'll just go for my normal one.
Hey, Patrick, are you ready for some jellyfishing? Jellyfishing!
Okay, can we add to that? Can you ask me in SpongeBob what I do when you're not around?
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Hey, Patrick, what do you do when I'm not around?
Wait for you to get back. Is mayonnaise an instrument?
do wumbo.
I wumbo, you wumbo, she, they wumbo.
Stay tuned, kids, for the SpongeBob podcast.
Yes.
That we probably should do.
We absolutely should do that. Yes. Yes. Finally.
Now, kids,
Yes.
if you happen to frequent on your email account, which don't, but if you do,
Kids can have email.
you can, but you have no reason to. So
You're going to
don't-
have a stupid name picked out for yourself,
Yeah.
though. I'm just giving you a heads up. I think my email account, because I made it when I was like 10
Yeah.
or 9,
Yeah.
something like that. And it was like Ocean Lover 2101.
Hey, you had numbers too.
I did, yeah.
I was Sean Flell 3000.
Okay, that's not too bad. Someone in acting school still had the account that they made when they were a kid, and we had to send emails to him, and it was like funky sports at
Oh no, who was that?
that was the ever lovable Steve Button.
Oh,
Steve
Steve.
Button.
Wait, funky sport.
It was something stupid like that.
So if you have a silly email, you can email to our silly email address, which is babybeardmedia@gmail.com, to ask us anything you want or to just say hello.
Please say hello. We really enjoy it when you do. You can also say hello to us on Facebook, which is also Baby Beard Media, rather. And we also have an Instagram account where you can see a time lapse of this very recording. Whoa! You can interact with us. We have a lot of polls on there, and check out our stories for just a day in the life kind of stuff from Baby Beard. Where else can people find us?
Oh, we have a YouTube account where we'll be gearing up to do some Let's Plays where we all play some video games together and chat while we do it.
That sounds like wholesome fun.
It is very super duper wholesome. It really is, actually. Yeah. It's super wholesome. And also, if you're liking everything that we're doing so far, the best thing you can do is to jump onto that podcast app or the Apple iTunes and subscribe to us, and give us a little bit of a cheeky 5 stars and tell us that you like us, and we really appreciate it. It helps out.
If we get to like any top of X rankings, I will make a cake. I will make a Futurama cake. It'll happen,
And I'll eat it.
and that's fair.
That's very fair.
That seems fair that I make the cake, spend all that effort, and you eat it.
I know. We'll take a photo first. It's fine.
Or we'll do something. If you have a desire to see us do something to hit like a crazy ranking, tell us what to do and then help us get there, and we will do it. Whether it's if you want us to dress up like Futurama characters, if you want us to say to John DiMaggio's face that he smells like a butt, we'll do it. We don't want to do it, but we'll do it for you.
Thank you so much for vamping while I ran to try and find out what the name of the next episode is going to be. And the name of the next episode is Fry Am the Eggman. Oh, you get it.
I get it.
Oh, so that's the next
You
time you
kids
can
might
see
not
us.
get it.
You can see us next week where we will be talking Fry Am the Eggman. And we may have aged a bit in a week.
Oh,
Maybe. I don't know. I
probably
feel a growth
not.
spurt. I feel a growth spurt coming.
Oh, boo!
Never.
Never grow up. Never. Yeah.
But Ellen,
Yes.
I feel you should go back to your house now.
Oh.
I couldn't think of a really nice way to say that.
Ellen, you should probably get out of here.
Yeah, I need to sleep.
No, you know what? I do actually need to get to bed. It's quite important, so I can wake up for work tomorrow feeling refreshed.
That's very true. You should all get some sleep.
We should all get some sleep. All right. Well, I have been Ellen, your friendly neighborhood Ellen.
Spider-Man. Oh. And I've been Sean, your friendly Sean. And it's great being with you guys this week.
Yes, it is. I already said goodbye, though.
Yeah. I'm just saying goodbye always.
Oh, that's nice.
Goodbye,
So they have-
goodbye, 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 goodbye. Put a smile on your dial.
We'll see you in a little while.
Bye for today. We'll see you again. Is that right?
I can't remember.
What is it from? Is that from Blue's Clues?
No.
No. We are gonna get cancelled.
We are gonna get cancelled. We are gonna get cancelled. Maybe even twice.
Oh.
Blue had the cutest dog noises in the world.
It's like
Isn't there another
confused-
dog?
Yeah, there was a pink one.
Magenta.
Was that its name?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was magenta.
Oh.
So it's called Magenta. So made Blue's blue.
Magenta's... What rhymes with magenta that's not placenta?
Flippin' hell, Jeremy!
You know, we had a Jeremy in our drama class in year 12, and we were at a point where we just had to go
Jeremy.
and learn our lines in a separate room. We could just go anywhere, just learning lines and spend the whole day doing it because we had break periods anywhere else. And I was trying to wrangle up the rest of the year, and I went down to where our drama, where we actually had drama in the room, and the only person that was in there was Jeremy. And I went, "Oh, Jeremy, we're actually all meeting in this room here." And he looks at me, and he just goes, "I'll cut you."
What? Jeremy!
And then I just left the room.